What do you say we start off 2014 with a look at a YouTube knife community legend, the Victorinox One-Handed Trekker in rare plain edge. Stay with me, guys. Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of January 2014. And I thought I would take a look this evening at a knife that, oh gosh, I guess has been in my collection for about 5 years. The new, not so new anymore, large chassis Victorinox One-Handed Trekker. Interesting, isn't it? This knife is no newcomer now, especially on YouTube, but a pretty innovative design of a family of knives for Victorinox, or the Swiss Army Knife Company. I guess about 2009, we first saw this chassis, this large 4 3/8 inch handle, and I think it appeared first in the new Soldier that replaced the old Alox handled Soldier in 2009, and it has now really blossomed into this great big family of knives. There's soldier knives for the Swiss Army, for the German Army. There's the Trekker. There's a Sentinel. I think there's even a single bladed version, and the Victorinox Rescue tool is built on this chassis. Now the technology or the method of construction isn't new, but the size sure is. As I said, handle length 4 3/8 inches. Blade length 3 3/8 inches. Of course, it's Victorinox's beautiful mirror polished Victorinox only stainless steel. It's something very close to Bowler N680. I can't remember the exact manufacturer and designation, but it's pretty close to that. It's an extremely corrosion resistant, not super high carbon stainless steel that is readily sharpenable and holds an edge adequately, but it really excels in taking a fine edge and being easy to resharpen to a super keen edge in the field without too much effort. Perfect EDC steel. If you notice, it is the one-handed Trekker, so with an oval shaped hole, it is one hand deployable, and it is not only a back spring slip joint, but it also adds a liner lock, and it is a left hand operated liner lock. Can you believe that? For those of you who've been watching this channel for very long, you know I'm a lefty. So eat it, all you right-handers. Victorinox loves the lefties. And that liner lock not only locks open the blade, which it does, it won't close, it also locks open on the other end of the knife the large flat blade screwdriver that has a half stop, and then it locks open and it will not release. That other end of that locking leaf also locks that open, so it makes it a very sturdy, large screwdriver. Pretty cool. So other than its size and its rather ergonomic handle, although that liner lock does sort of bite your index finger if you're in a saber grip, not so much if you're in sort of a side grip or a hammer grip. Other than the size, the lockability, and the one-handed operation, what makes this knife neat? Well, interesting question, isn't it? How about overall utility, especially when you throw in a wood saw? And I gotta say, a very usable wood saw. I don't know if I guess I did kind of clean this out, but I had some wood fragments back here at the base. I mean, an extremely capable wood saw. Anything up to about 3 inches in diameter, believe it or not, that saw will make short work of, and man, does it cut. So let's run down, shall we, the list of tools. But you know what, before I leave the main blade, there's something I should point out. I teased you with this in the intro. If you notice, my main blade on my Trekker is plain edged. I had to really hunt for this knife. Don't even know if they make it anymore. Most of these are partially serrated, and they're serrated about the second 2/3 of the knife. They're plain edge at the base. The serrations start here all the way to the tip. And there are those wonderful scalloped one size Victorinox serrations that you find on so many of these large chassis knives. I just don't see any reason to have them though. Unless it's a dedicated seatbelt cutter like you see on the rescue tool, just give me a plain edge blade. If I need a saw, well, I have a saw. A lot of guys modded their Trekkers and their Soldiers and similar blades and basically ground the serrations off. This one came plain edge from the factory. Pretty cool. So we've got the saw, we've got the 3 3/8 inch huge pen blade, I guess you'd call it, drop point. You know, really, if you took off the opening hole, it looks just like a Victorinox main blade, doesn't it? And then with the large screwdriver, we've also got a cap lifter, a wire bender. On the other end, we've got our small 3mm screwdriver and our can opener, and one of the best multi-tool can openers in the world is on these knives. On the back side, we've got our T-handle Phillips driver and our reamer, this one without the sewing eye. And guys, these reamers, if you've ever used one, are amazing tools. If you lose weight and you need another hole in your belt, you can make belt holes with this reamer that look factory. All kinds of uses. You'd be surprised. Drilling holes in pieces of wood to insert pegs, like making trip triggers on snare traps, stuff like that. You can actually make a very straight hole with this reamer once you get good at it. Of course, we've got our key ring split ring, and I use this gutted paracord lanyard just to kind of find the knife in the bottom of my pocket and pull it out. And then, of course, toothpick and tweezer. I'm going to be doing sort of a series of Victorinox videos and in the coming months, and this is one of the first 2 Victorinox knives that I bought. I bought this one, and I bought a green Alox Cadet. And to be honest with you guys, and I may have mentioned this in my Victorinox addiction video that I did, 8 or 9 months ago. I never really thought much of Swiss Army knives or Victorinox knives. I thought they were kind of kids' toys. Had no desire to ever have one until I stumbled upon the Nut and Fancy project 5 years ago or so. And, you know, I started watching that channel on YouTube because of all the cool blades he reviewed. And then, I don't know, maybe 6 months into that experience, I started to see Victorinox knives. I was like, what? Nothing? What? Why on earth would you have those stupid little $20 Swiss Army knives, for goodness sake? Soft steel, you know, what the... I just don't get it. You know, if you need a screwdriver, get a screwdriver. What? Well, he had one Victorinox video, and then he had another. He did the Cadet, he did the Trekker. You know, he did the Mechanic, he did the Tinker, all kinds of them. And he had colors and variations, and he thought they were so neat. And he told stories about when he was a kid. He saw that Officier Suisse stamp in the base of a blade. He thought it was just the coolest thing. He converted me. And, you know, after having owned a few of these in many configurations, for the price you pay, and this knife, guys, runs like between $28 and $35 online. They're just so well made. This knife is 5 years old. It looks and operates exactly like it did when I got it. You know, the texture is still present on these plastic scales. Even the silk screened Victorinox shield still looks pretty good. And this knife has spent a lot of time knocking around in my pocket. It's been on camping trips. It's processed wood. It's cut food. It's cut new holes in belts. It's driven screws, changed license plates, opened cans. And does it look real used to you? They just hold up and last and last. You know, this is a great knife to have if you if you're on a light pack camping trip, and you know it covers your EDC, your food prep blade, and your multi-tool in a 4.5 ounce package. Would it be good in a get-home bag or a bug-out bag? You bet it would. And it's not a bad EDC blade. You know, I've got this 3 3/8 inch knife with over 3 inches of cutting edge, and it's a great letter opener, great food prep knife. Sort of a full flat grind if you don't count the area where the opening hole is. It comes to a very thin edge. I think mine's sharpened at like 18 degrees, and you can see that edge bevel is not very broad, just a wicked little slicer. My only fit and finish complaint is, I don't know if, I think I've actually sharpened this out now, but if this knife sort of slams home, if you shut it too robustly, the tip will run into the frame. There's an assembly rivet or pin right near the tip, and the knife, it just sort of depends on its tang and the back spring to stop it, and it can actually be pushed down into that rivet. And I noticed the first year or so I had it, I'd keep feeling this rough spot at my tip, and that's what was causing it. So now I try to be a little more careful when I close it. But you have to sort of really push it to get it to do that. But other than that, what a great knife. It's been a long time since I've carried this. I was kind of going through my closet tonight, thinking, what would I like to show on camera? Don't have any knives in for sharpening right now, but boy, do I have a bunch on the way. And haven't bought anything new in a little bit, so I thought, what can I dig out from the archives that the guys would like to see that hasn't been on this channel yet? And the Trekker is not a new knife. It's not new to me, and it's not new on the market. But man, guys, if you don't have one, get one. You can buy it in this black. You can buy it in camo now. The variations of it with the German and Swiss Army or soldier models are both available. They've even got some in some 2-texture scales with soft inserts. I kind of prefer this old original though, and if you can find it in plain edge, what a score. Although the serrated blade works pretty well, I gotta say. I have that in another knife. That's all for tonight, my friends. I just thought you'd like to see this, and I think it is highly recommended. So grace to you and peace, my friends, from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the Word and my Trekker are sharp. Have a good night, guys.